Hi, I'm Camden. I'm also from Engineers Without Borders. And I'm deeply concerned about the effectiveness of CETA, and with the recent report by the Auditor General pretty much saying, or putting more proof saying that CETA is not being effective. And essentially $5 billion of taxpayers' money is being essentially wasted each year. So what are you and the Liberal Party planning on doing to actually make CETA more effective and making aid actually do what it's supposed to be doing?
It's a great question. CETA is our international development agency. You're critical of it, I'm critical of it. There was a period in which one of the problems with CETA is that 80% of its staff was in Ottawa. That's a problem. You're trying to help Africa and Asia, 80% of your staff ought to be out in the field. So that's one issue. The second issue is John McKay tried to address in his private members bill, which CETA has not followed. Imagine that, we pass a bill in Parliament and it's not being complied with. Was that one of the missions that needs to focus CETA's activity is on poverty reduction. There are 26 things CETA could do, but the most important thing it could do is reduce poverty. So it lacks a strategic focus, its staff is misaligned, right? Too many people in Ottawa, not enough people, and it's incredibly bureaucratic, right? And its partnership with outfits like Engineers With Borders leaves a lot to be desired. So what is my party doing? We've shown some leadership already. I think we need to sit down with stakeholders and partners like you, Engineers Without Borders, and think about what's the vision of foreign aid that this country needs to develop. There are people who say, blow CETA up and start over again, right? I mean, I'm very impatient with CETA, and many of the people who work with CETA, like you, are impatient with CETA. We put some proposals forward, but we need to develop others. The thing that's significant about the questions, and it's very, very positive, how many questions about international issues have come up in this discussion. I think that's one of the visions of citizenship that I have, that I think young Canadians have, which is that to be a citizen of Canada is to be a citizen of the world. The obligations you have as a citizen of this country give you obligations to the world. I am much reproached for having spent a certain amount of my lifetime out of the country. I have no apology to make. My vision of your lives is that you're out and back, and out and back. Engineers With Borders will take you to Zaire for 6 months and then back. You will go to work for a foreign company and come back and work in Canada. That out and back, constant intersection with the world beyond our borders will make you a better Canadian, a better citizen. So this is not just about CETA, it's about who we are as a people and how much an international sense of ourselves works into our conception of being a Canadian. Thanks for your questions.
Hi, my name is Ben Taunton. I'm a member of the student government here at McMaster. My question is, what advice do you have for student leaders here and across the country for dealing with student apathy and increasing student engagement with politics, student politics, and political issues in general?
Wow. Well, I think we're doing something useful this afternoon. I think my obligation as an elected public official is to come here, stand in this room, answer questions as best I can. As soon as a kind of gulf develops between the political class and students, we have a problem. That's why I'm here, that's why I'm doing, that's why I'm going to keep on doing. I think your job as a student leader is to have realistic, practical politics on McMaster campus that addresses real issues and doesn't get taken over by ideology. Evidence-based politics, science-based politics, knowledge-based politics. If I think back to I'm very old. My education as an undergraduate and as a graduate student occurred at a time, I was talking about this with someone last night, in which we spent an incredible amount of our time as students engaged with ideological discussions that I now look back at as quaint and unrealistic and entirely divorced from the world. I mean, the test of a great university is that you're talking about the world as it is, as it actually is in all its messy complexity. And insist in the climate of a university on realism, on evidence, on research, on science, and above all, on listening. And you look at the diversity in this room, the range of human experience in this room. Universities that really succeed are universities that create an atmosphere in which we listen to each other. And sometimes the listening is very painful. And the thing that you want to have is learning to disagree profoundly with people, but having listened carefully. When I think about the time that I wasted as an undergraduate, I was a sort of student leader. Actually, Bob Ray was much more of a student leader at my time. And look what happened to him. That turned out pretty well. We spent too much time reading abstruse theoretical works about Karl Marx and not enough time about our country, its problems, its real problems. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing I think we need to develop. Sorry, my answer took you in a place I don't think you intended.
Hi, my name is Michael Lee. I'm a fourth year biochemistry student. I'm a huge fan and a member of the party. I just have two very brief suggestions and one question. Number one, 2009 was a tough year for you, especially towards...
You can say that again.
And I would just suggest that, I know you've made changes already, I would just suggest that you boldly make changes and things that didn't work out so well, just boldly throw them out the window. I know you have a new chief of staff, Peter Donovo, I believe, and I believe that's the right direction. Number two is about policies. I would just recommend that you announce more policy suggestions to show Canadian people, your intellectual capacity. I know that you recently suggested a reform to the CPP, and I think that's a great move, and I would just recommend making more policy announcement suggestions so that people know, what you're capable of. And I'd just also like to ask if there are policy suggestions that you have that are in the pipelines.
Thank you. Thank you for the question and the comment. One area where I think we need to be imaginative as a party, and for the moment I'm talking to you as a party member, I don't assume everybody in the room is a party member, far from it, is we need to respond to the unemployment issue. One of the statistics that worries me most as a citizen and a public official is that youth unemployment in your generation is double the national average. 8.5 is the national average for unemployment. For people aged between 20 and 24, it's in the 16, 17, 18%, depending where you are. So many of you are looking at coming out of this paradise of study and learning and thinking, oh my God, is there a job out there? And that's an issue I think our party needs to respond to. Are there practical, policy responsible ways to incentivize employers to hire young Canadians out of college and out of high school and out of everywhere? Can we do that in a way that's compatible with, economic logic? Can we do it at a price in terms of tax credits and incentives that makes economic sense? In the days and weeks ahead, that's an area where I think we need to make a productive contribution. Oppositions have two roles. One of them is negative, 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 and I make no apologies for negative, negative, negative. It's my darn job. But the flip side is you got to be positive. We were very positive on pension reform. We've said some positive and I think clear things on the environment, on post-secondary education, on early learning and childhood. And now I think the next challenge is to say something positive and productive about unemployment, particularly about youth unemployment.